Every public appearance told the same story. A woman who cared deeply, who showed up with empathy, and who belonged perfectly inside the ancient institution of the British monarchy. The press photos sold it beautifully, and the PR machine ran it like clockwork. But all that warmth and cheer seemed to dissolve the second she thought the cameras were off. Welcome to this deep dive into the moments where the mask slipped. It all began on what was supposed to be the most perfect day of her life, the royal wedding. Billions were watching. The dress was immaculate. The ceremony was spotless. But then, the bridal car door opened and the first crack appeared. As a palace aide reached out to adjust her veil, doing exactly what they were trained to do, Meghan didn't offer a grateful glance. Instead, she brushed his hand away with a sharpness that was caught in high definition. It was a flash of raw irritation. This was her introduction to the world as a royal, and the instinct wasn't grace. It was impatience. This set a pattern that would follow her to Cheshire, where she accompanied Queen Elizabeth. Protocol is ironclad. The monarch enters the car first. Yet, Meghan pushed forward with such momentum that the Queen had to gesture her inside. It wasn't just a mistake. It was a public demonstration of someone who treated centuries of tradition as mere suggestions. From crossing her legs in a casual coffee shop manner next to the Queen's textbook posture, to turning her back during the solemn, trooping the color flyover, the rebellion against protocol wasn't accidental. Even Prince Harry had to physically nudge her to turn around on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. It wasn't a cute marital moment. It was a rescue mission. The world began to see that the warmth had very specific limits, and those limits usually ended where someone else's authority began. As the months passed, the interactions caught on camera became less about learning the ropes and more about control. In one viral clip, Meghan is seen swatting Harry's hand away with a set jaw and hard eyes. It didn't look like a wife redirecting a husband. It looked like a handler correcting an asset who had gone off script. This cold energy extended beyond the palace walls. At a friend's wedding in Jamaica, a waiter approached her with a tray of drinks. Without a single glance or a word of thanks, she flicked her hand in a dismissive wave-off, treating a human being like a fly. The optics were catastrophic for a woman whose entire brand was built on empathy. But perhaps the most shocking verbal evidence came from Nigeria. During a school visit, a teacher tried to engage her in conversation. Instead of a warm response, the cameras caught 3 chilling words. Don't talk to me. No ambiguity, no taken out of context defense. It was a verbal shutdown of a host in her own country. This pattern of dismissal continued in Fiji. During a market tour, a video went viral showing Meghan's face shifting from a wide grin to a sharp hiss directed at someone in her path. Reports later claimed the individual was left in tears. Even around children, the humanitarian mask seemed heavy. Footage from Rwanda in 2016 and royal engagements in 2019 showed a stiff, detached stare instead of the motherly warmth she would later claim as her identity. You can rehearse a speech about compassion 1,000 times, but you cannot fake the micro-expressions that surface when a crowd inconveniences you. Whether it was rubbing the back of a Colombian official in a way that many described as overly flirtatious, forcing Prince Harry to intervene, or physically moving a charity chairwoman out of photo frame to take center stage, the message was clear. The spotlight was hers, and anyone in its way was merely an obstacle to be moved. The most visceral moments of all involved the physical displacement of others. At the Invictus Games, an event meant to honor the resilience of disabled veterans, Meghan reached out and grabbed the handles of athlete Audrey Abreu's wheelchair. Without asking, without warning, she physically moved a veteran as if she were a piece of furniture blocking a camera angle. The athlete's hands flew up in shock, a natural reaction to having one's personal space and mobility violated. A wheelchair is an extension of a person's body, yet it was treated like a prop. This lack of boundaries mirrored her behavior at public events where she would drive her elbow into people in her path rather than pausing for a second. Even the royal family wasn't immune to the freeze. During Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, a moment meant to honor 70 years of service, Meghan's expression went cold and deliberate as Kate and William entered St. Paul's Cathedral. There was no nod, no polite blink, just a hard snub in plain sight of the world. Perhaps the final blow to the graceful royal image came from her own hands on Netflix. In a professional setting, she chose to reenact her first curtsy to the Queen with theatrical mockery, laughing as she bowed in an exaggerated manner. She compared the ancient tradition to a medieval times dinner tournament. It wasn't a story of nerves. It was a story of ridicule directed at the woman who had welcomed her. From the solo standing ovation she gave herself at community projects to the territorial maneuvers during the Windsor walkabout, the footage tells a story that PR cannot erase. It's a story of a woman who didn't want to join an institution, but wanted to be the institution herself. As the masks continue to slip, the world is left wondering, who is the real Meghan Markle behind the carefully curated headlines? The cameras, it seems, have already given us the answer